Speaking of which, I didn't start recording this. But I was putting them up on YouTube, and they weren't getting a whole lot of views or anything. So I figured I wanted to start streaming live. But I figured I'd do YouTube to begin with, and then Twitch has been getting larger and larger, and more podcasts are moving to Twitch. So
That's interesting.
I figured Twitch would be a good place to just start instead of YouTube.
Well, I'm kind of a production-oriented sort of individual, so I'm really interested in kind of like the inner workings of your operation because, well, at work I've had to recently get some people up on a podcast.
Yeah.
Over at Brian, and it's difficult. You're running a lot of technology in here.
Right. I know. It's a lot of shit, dude.
Yeah,
It's a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, the average person can't figure this out. I can tell you that much.
No, they cannot.
No. I mean, you're live streaming to Twitch, uploading to YouTube. You're on Apple Podcasts. Are you on Stitcher?
Yeah, I'm on Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify,
Interesting.
Google Play.
Have you ever heard of Anchor.fm?
Anchor?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's like this. It's a startup with a little seed money.
Yeah.
They're trying to be a SoundCloud competitor.
Really?
Which is interesting to me because a lot of people talked about SoundCloud going away at one point.
Really?
SoundCloud doesn't make money, and so it's weird to see a competitor try their hand at it.
I've never used SoundCloud before.
Dude, it's nice.
I've never produced content for, I guess, I don't know, the SoundCloud space. I mean, as far as I know, it's mostly just like DJs and shit like that putting stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah, that's a big community over there.
Yeah.
Personally, I listen to a show called the Future Beats Show by DJ Complexion on SoundCloud.
DJ Complexion.
DJ Complexion. Yeah.
There you go.
It's pretty nice because it's like, you can listen to a 2-hour mix that's got some pretty good stuff on it and never encounter a single ad.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that might be part of SoundCloud's problem with their profitability. Is that people can manage to do that. But yeah, I mean, there's a huge podcasting community over there. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson's got his own show on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he does actual over-the-air broadcasts as well, but yeah, what's that one called? Star Talk Radio.
Star Talk, yeah.
Yeah. So
Neil deGrasse Tyson is a fucking fascinating guy.
honestly, if you're an atheist and you need someone to believe in, it might be him.
He's pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, that guy is going to be. He's smarter than most of the world. I don't think you could really match his IQ.
I don't think so either.
But he seems super nice too. Really approachable for being as I guess well-rounded and worldly as he is. He seems like a very approachable guy. I mean, listening to his show, I would love to have him as a grandpa or something. He seems yeah, he seems awesome. And he's got Bill Nye on that show all the time. I personally respect Bill Nye. I love that guy.
Fucking Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, dude, he's got a movie out. Did you know that?
No. What kind of movie?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Sorry, I'm trying to tweet this shit. I'm listening though, I promise.
You fucking millennial.
We're going live on Twitch. It's up on the gram. It's up on the Twitter. I think we're good. We're good to go here.
They say multitasking is not real.
I know. I don't understand that, to be honest with you.
Well,
in the sense of doing multiple tasks simultaneously, I'll give you that. But in the sense of how most people refer to multitasking, like I can listen to you but also read something on my phone at the same time.
It's true.
I would say that is theoretically possible because I just did it. It's like I was just looking.
That's true. Well, the one thing I think, okay, maybe multitasking not existing is kind of a bold statement.
It's kind of strange to say.
I think what experts are saying is, at least recently, is when you attempt to multitask, you do both activities worse than you would have done just doing one at a time.
That is what they say. I have heard that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So you're having a conversation, but also, live tweeting at the real Donald Trump. You're gonna do both shittily.
I'll agree with that.
And then Mr. Teflon, he'll come right back at you with some hardcore insults. He'll call you like silly Jeremy or something like that.
I'll agree with that for sure, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We live in this weird culture where people got to be matter of fact about shit all the time. Like, nah, dude. Multitasking is not really a thing.
Oh, so essentially, like, people gotta like make a point and make it stick like constantly.
Yeah.
I'm right. You're absolutely wrong.
Multitasking is not real, and this is why. It's like, well, all right. Well, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'm gonna put headphones in, and I'm gonna listen to you. So tell me what that is.
I guess
Like,
it's multitasking.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't know. Like, what's your definition of multitasking?
Well,
That's like this weird. We get in this weird space too, where it's like to communicate with someone properly. It's like you got to define what they mean. Like, it's like,
yeah.
well, that's not very nice. It's like, all right, well, what's your definition of nice, fuckface? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you got to constantly define like your definition of what you're fucking saying.
Well, I have a feeling, and again, I'm not a historian. We're just shooting the shit. But the internet has changed the way that we perceive things.
That's true.
I think these kinds of conditions, these kinds of matter-of-fact forms of communication, the way that we talk to each other have always existed, but they've never been in the limelight like they are now.
That's true.
Right? Like, everyone talks about, okay, you go to a holiday party. What you don't talk about religion, politics, and what's the other one?
Politics, religion, money?
That doesn't sound right. Maybe, no, I think it might just be two. You don't talk religion and politics. That's like the two. Maybe.
Religion and politics for sure.
Okay.
I think everyone agrees. You know, those are the two dinner. There's three. It's for sure three. I'm gonna Google it.
Please do. Please do. He's
That's
about to do some multitasking, people.
That's the great thing about being on this live podcast.
Is that, we've got Cox Internet here. Gigablast us.
Cox Digital Cable.
Please.
Did you know I asked them for the family discount and they said no?
Do you have children?
No, like my last name's Cox.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of cocksuckers.
Cocksuckers?
Yeah, cocksuckers.
Okay. The fact that I'm laughing at that means I've been living under a rock.
3 topics to avoid at dinner. 3 things you're not supposed to discuss.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What are they?
Religion, politics, and money.
Oh, you actually got it.
Yeah, it's money.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah,
money.
Because no one wants to know how much you fucking make, asshole.
Ooh, totally true.
Everyone has that one uncle that's like, yeah, look at my bank account. You're like, all right, man, calm down.
I invested in Amazon in 1999.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, man. Thanks for making us all feel bad about our fucking choices.
So, I said Amazon. I don't know. Do you have a plan for this podcast, or can we just ramble? Is that cool?
Just, yeah, whatever.
Fantastic. So I recently flew up to Seattle to see a good friend, and of course, that Seattle is Amazon's bitch.
When was that? When did you go?
That was almost a month ago.
Okay.
Almost a month ago, so like early August. And dude, Amazon is everywhere up there. I haven't been to Seattle since 2005, and I'm a very late millennial in the game. In fact, actually, if you look it up, it's debatable whether I'm a Gen Z or not.
No way.
I was born in 1995. So that
I think you made the cut then. I think it's like to 1998.
It depends on who you talk to. It depends on like who's reporting on it. Like Forbes says one thing, and HuffPost says another.
I'm going by that study that came out earlier this year. That was like that new whoever the fuck it was.
Yeah, the studies are.
Go on though about the Seattle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So they have the most. They lease the most office space out of any other employer in the greater Seattle area. I don't know how much square footage it is, but it's ungodly.
Is that true? The most office space?
Oh, yeah.
Pew Research will use 1996 as the last birth year for millennials. So
Really?
you're good.
I
You're good.
actually made the cut.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay. Wow. So that actually means that my sister is technically a Gen Z.
1981 to 1996.
That's a wide swath, but I'm glad I did make the cut. I mean, at least now I can be a target of all those awful, newspaper articles about us, like how millennials are ruining the housing market, ruining how wine is bought. And,
I know there's like a new one every week. There was like a millennials are canceling their Amazon Prime.
Really?
Yeah. That's the new one I saw.
Is it because their parents have Amazon Prime and so they just end up using it?
I didn't
like
even
me?
bother reading it. I was like, who cares? I was like, that's not even true because I fucking love Amazon Prime. Like, I'll order half my shit from Amazon Prime just because I have it.
Well,
yeah, it's free shipping. It'll be here tomorrow.
It's actually, I think the actual value that you get out of Amazon Prime is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Come on, you get 2-day free shipping on most items on Amazon. I mean, we're talking like probably over 80% on Amazon. The majority of items. Yeah. You also get everything that's streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Mm-hmm. How do you beat that?
Yep.
I'm not about to become an advertisement for Amazon, but when I see those kinds of services, because I feel like a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. A lot of people want to start their own small business. I'd love to be a small business owner at some point. That sounds amazing. But how do you compete with stuff like that? You don't. The scale is insane. I mean, you have to have hundreds of millions of people subscribing to your service to be able to make money off of something like that. Amazon Prime is only a thing because hundreds of millions of people agree that it's a thing.
People.
If only 10,000 people subscribe to Amazon Prime, it would disappear tomorrow because it's so good. It's almost too good to be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went to this when I was in Seattle. We went to this place. Well, we went to this event called the South Lake Union Block Party, and it was sponsored by Amazon, Microsoft, and a handful of other tech companies that are up there. And there were Amazon employees everywhere. And the only reason I know that is because I ended up talking to some people because they had a beer garden, and the local craft brews were cheap, fortunately. And I met these people. They had a bunch of corgis, and I was like, "Oh, guys, can I pet your dogs? I love dogs, And ended up talking to them. They work for Amazon Web Services. These guys are coders.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like this one guy was like, "Yeah, I bought this corgi because all my fucking friends were buying corgis." And keep in mind, a corgi is like a $1,000 dog.
All my friends were buying corgis. I had to get one, dude. All my friends were fucking buying them, bro.
Yeah. So that's the bandwagon, I guess, over there at Amazon is, all my coworkers are buying corgis. But because Amazon's got this company policy where you can actually bring your dogs into work.
That's badass.
That is badass. Unless your dog's reactive like my dog. If I brought my dog into work and he saw another dog, he'd go apeshit.
Yeah, my dog probably would just be wandering around the office all day. And at the end of the day, I'd be like, dude, have you seen my dog?
Just leaving turds everywhere.
I don't know if he'd shit all over the place, but he's just a friendly guy.
Well, I mean,
he'd be all excited.
That's more than to be said for my dog. My dog's friendly to people. My dog loves people, but hates other dogs.
Oh, really?
Well, it's such a weird, specific situation. Like, we got him from the pound. We got him from Arizona Humane Society.
Yeah.
And he hates other dogs that are on leashes. When he's on his leash and we're walking him around, he hates other dogs on walks. He will bark and lunge and all this shit.
Really?
When he meets other dogs in a house, like another dog comes to the house or like we go visit people with dogs, he loves those dogs. And they're all off the leash and they're totally cool.
I wonder if it's like a territorial thing when he's on the leash.
Maybe.
Like he has to protect like you. You know what I mean?
It might be something mentally.
Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It's such a weird psychological happenstance with that dog. So
that's weird.
When I think about taking him into public, I get anxiety because, I don't want to embarrass myself. It's a problem. And I couldn't have taken him to the South Lake Union Block Party because there were a crap ton of dogs there, which made it awesome.
Yeah.
But those people are so lucky. I'm going to tell you right now, the world of dogs, right now, the internet. If you have a dog that's not reactive, you are super lucky. You are super lucky because you can go anywhere with your dog.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to bet, and, this might be controversial. If you don't have a reactive dog, it means you probably bought it rather than adopted it. I'm just making an assumption, but it might be true. Because when I went to the pound, that was hellish. That was awful.
That could be have to do with an adopted dog. I don't know.
Like, there were dogs in cages, like, barking at each other the whole time we were there. And I think that's where it comes from. I think it's like, okay, like your dog has spent like months in this cell.
It could be
You
like a learned territorial trait type of deal.
I think, yeah.
That
I don't
could
know.
be. I've never really thought about that type of shit before.
I mean, I don't know. There's so many dogs. There's so many dogs in this world. It's like, go adopt one, you know. But anyway, that's the darker
We've
side
been
of
thinking
things.
about getting a new dog.
Really?
Yeah.
The second one?
Yeah, second one. Yeah, I just don't know how my dog, like, you just met my dog. I don't know how he would do with a second dog, because he's been the only dog for so long now. And as he gets older, he just gets so much grumpier. And, like, I just don't know if, like, he would be able to handle a new dog running around all the time, or
Sure.
if he would start snapping at it and shit. Like, I get really worried that, like, he'll play with my mom's dog when we go visit my mom. But, like, at that third or fourth day when we leave, he seems so relieved that we're leaving, and, like, he has his own time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder how he would do permanently with another dog at this point, like, in his old-ass
Life.
old dog life.
Well,
Yeah.
how old is he?
He's 9 now.
Oh, okay. So he's getting up there.
Yeah.
He's getting up there a little bit.
But, I mean, maybe that's just my horrible logic, and he'd be totally fine with another dog.
Well, something that we've discovered, because we got our dog back in February, something we discovered is that you oftentimes project your own emotions on your dog.
Yeah.
What you think they're feeling is not at all what they're feeling. It's what you're feeling.
It could be.
Yeah, it's what you're feeling. It's not what your dog's feeling. So maybe you interpreted that your dog feels relieved, but maybe it's because you actually feel relieved.
Yeah, I could be. I do get very relieved. That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
And you're projecting that emotion on him.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So like my fiance Laura, she'll feel bad all the time for something that happens to Jasper, our dog. But in reality, Jasper probably doesn't give a shit, you know. But we feel bad, you know. Like, oh man, like, you know, we didn't feed him on time or something. I don't know. That's just a dumb example, but
That's hilarious.
yeah. But anyway, so back to Amazon and Jeff Bezos.
Oh yeah, the richest man in the world.
He is the richest man in the world.
He's not really, but that's what they say.
So is that based on net worth?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Well, it's like known net worth in like the current stock market,
Oh.
right?
So sure.
I said this before on this podcast. Like the real richest guy in the world is like a Saudi prince who's like worth over like trillions of dollars.
But
Like an oil king.
He actually has liquid cash, like actual hard, cold dollars.
He would have more, than Jeff Bezos. And that's the thing, like Jeff Bezos, he's like the richest man in the world, but he couldn't really like get that much money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Even if he took it all out of the stock exchange and liquidated it all into cash, the government would still take like fucking half of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like his stocks are worth that much. But,
Sure. Well,
but yeah, no, I've looked it up, like this Saudi oil king, because they don't have to record their income in like Saudi Arabia and.
Really? They don't have to
know.
report their income?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like.
Is there a tax system over there?
I mean, he's a king. Like, it's like.
Oh, he's actually like.
They're like fucking
has
royalty.
political influence?
They're like royalty. They fucking own the oil kingdom. You know what I mean? I'm gonna Google it.
Do you think electric cars are making them shit their pants at all, or
No.
probably not? Probably not until electric cars can become viable enough, like cheap enough. I mean, I can go, dude. You can buy a brand new Mitsubishi Mirage, which is like the shittiest, smallest compact car on the market today. It's got a 4-star safety rating.
Yeah.
You'll probably end up dying in one someday if you buy it. You can buy one brand new off the lot for like $11,000.
Yeah.
And wait 1 year, and you can buy one used with like very low miles for like $6,000.
Yeah.
Until electric cars can get to that point,
I just don't think electric cars are gonna be feasible until the gas station companies switch. I mean, until you can travel anywhere, any parking lot has a charging station, or they go mobile or whatever. Like, you know, because it's not like a feasible. You're not going to stop at a gas station in an electric car and wait there 45 minutes to charge.
No.
You need to stop by a parking lot that has lunch or an activity to leave your car in for an hour to charge.
Yeah.
So it's like until charging ports are everywhere, I don't see us like transitioning in the grand scheme of things.
It's an infrastructure problem. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it took us, what? You got the first production vehicle ever in like 1906, right? When was the Model T?
The Model T?
Yeah, could you look that up? That was like the world's first production car.
1908.
Okay.
October 1st. Oh, and I do have King Solomon listed as the richest. His net worth is over 1.4 trillion in assets.
Oh, that 1.4 trillion. That's higher than the GDP of like most small countries.
The Rothschild family is reportedly worth over $2 trillion. The House of Saud in Saudi Arabia, the Al Saud family, has ruled Saudi Arabia with absolute authority since the 1700s.
Oh, this is on Investopedia?
Though the modern government has been in place since 1932.
Dude.
The Al Saud family is headed by King Salman. Not surprisingly, most of the Al Saud wealth comes from its control of the oil reserves. Yeah, they're like the richest family in the world.
I thought I looked into the Rothschild thing maybe about a year ago now. I personally was underneath the impression that was mostly a conspiracy, but is it true? I mean, is there an actual? I thought that the Rothschilds were like, kind of a spread out sort of. Oh, our names are Rothschild and we happen to be rich, but it's not.
I don't know. I think it's fairly true.
Yeah,
that they're like a global superpower. They're like the Koch brothers in America.
Well, the thing with like a lot of people think that the reason that we want into North Korea so bad is because the Rothschilds are pushing world governments to get in there so they can centralize the banks there.
Really?
Because North Korea is one of the only places in the world that doesn't have Rothschild, apparently. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist fan.
They don't have a bank?
They don't have a Rothschild-backed bank.
Interesting.
So they have like the DRPK bank or whatever, like the Republic of North Korea, but they don't have a Rothschild, a westernized bank there. And so a lot of people theorize that the reason that the United States and other countries are trying to get in there so bad, and the nuclear thing is like a big facade,
Really?
The real reason is to get centralized banks in there.
I did read or hear, I don't know if I read or hear anything these days. Who knows? But they have a lot of like mineral deposits in North Korea.
What kinds of minerals?
There's like reports that they have like all sorts of like minerals and like veins of shit in their mountains, like gold, and they have like diamond reserves and like emeralds and like all sorts of shit.
Wow.
Like in their mountain ranges in North Korea.
And
like trillions of dollars of jewels.
But they don't have the ability to mine it?
They do. That's what, like, we don't know. Because we don't know anything about North Korea.
No.
Like, we don't know if, like, they've been fucking mining it and sitting on this gold pile of shit. Or if, they don't know anything about it and we think there's these fucking minerals and shit in their mountains.
Do you remember when the interview came out, that James Franco movie?
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
Yeah.
So what was that? That was like 2014, I'm pretty sure. And I remember I was living in a frat house. Basically, it wasn't an actual frat, but it basically turned into that. It was just like this house in like Rio. Do you remember Rio up in Flagstaff? That neighborhood,
of course.
that like ghetto neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was living over there. And me and my roommates just watched the whole interview situation unfold, where Sony Pictures got hacked, and then that film got leaked, and they lost all that money. And then, it wasn't the CEO, but it was like one of the top administrators, and the company got fired over it and all this shit. We ended up watching it on Netflix the weekend it was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
In theaters. They just released it to Netflix. They were just like, oh, fuck us.
I know, and everyone's like, how could Netflix do that? And Netflix is like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Like, there was a licensing agreement.
And then it was fine.
Dude, but that's the thing. I mean, think about, you and I, so we met in film school. You know how much it costs to make a movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Interview is no exception. That movie, dude,
they went all out.
That movie probably cost like $23 million to make or something.
Yeah,
something
I was gonna say
stupid.
$30 million.
$30 million, sure, because and most of the money is going to the actors.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. Okay, and that shit gets leaked. That's essentially like pouring. I don't know. You're pouring an entire bank's worth of money into something and losing it.
Yeah.
Sony Pictures bit the dust on that
like
one.
an acid pit.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
It just disappears. It just
Oh,
disappears into thin air. We're talking more money than any one of us could ever imagine touching.
And it keeps happening. It's
yeah.
In Hollywood, it keeps happening with all these movies. Like Kevin Spacey was starring in something like 3 movies that all got canned. Because
oh my God, really?
Yeah, because of his
because of his sex scandal thing.
Yeah, they just were like, sorry, we're not going to release any of these fucking movies now. And same happened with who's that other actor? They canceled his shit. Oh, I can't remember.
No. Did you hear that Dustin Hoffman had allegations against him too?
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I did find that North Korea is sitting on a stockpile of minerals worth trillions. This is from Business Insider.
Well, Business Insider is
embedded
reputable
deep
enough.
Beneath the country's mountain zones are some 200 varieties of minerals, including gold, iron, copper, zinc, magnesite, limestone, quartz, blah, blah, blah. The total value of these minerals lies somewhere between $6 trillion and $10 trillion.
Wow.
The country is too poor to create the infrastructure needed to export the minerals. How crazy is that?
See, that's what I assumed, was that they don't have the means of actually extracting it.
Isn't that disturbing?
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Have you ever seen an open pit mine? You know, I mean that shit.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman accused of exposing himself to a miner. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
I know we're like all over the place on these topics. Yeah, I think North Korea, the whole North Korea thing is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, think about the tractors. Think about the earth movers. You know, the actual facilities you need to build to actually build a mine. It's crazy.
But it's like they have like reportedly like the second largest military in like the world.
Really?
Right?
What?
Because it's like every citizen's part of the military.
Okay, so they have the largest reserve in the world. I don't know if they actually have the largest military in the world.
I'm gonna fucking look this up.
I mean, that would be ridiculous, and also probably all their artillery and vehicles and equipment is probably super antiquated and outdated. I mean,
as of 2016, they had almost 6 million paramilitary personnel, which is the largest paramilitary organization on the world.
So they could call on their citizenship to fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, that I don't think that means shit, because if you don't have, I mean, what wins a war is skill. You know?
No, but I wouldn't die for my government.
You wouldn't?
No, that's what I'm saying. They could like call their citizens like, hey, we're going to war. Americans would be like, all right, good luck. Let us know how it goes, man.
Well, I guess so. You know? Yeah. Okay. It's kind of like, you know, you can lead, what's the saying? You can lead a cow to water, but you can't make it drink. Or a camel or whatever the fuck.
Or whatever,
whatever. I mean, you can give a man a gun, but you can't make him shoot. I mean, could theoretically, if someone handed you an AR right now, would you know how to shoot it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a bad example.
Me for sure, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll go get my guns for you. No problem.
That's right. Yeah, folks, if you didn't realize, we live in Arizona, so guns are very common here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, my grandpa was a Marine, so I know how to use a gun pretty well.
Well, talk to someone in Vermont.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, think about the people that live in North Korea. We're talking about well below poverty line, like
Oh, yeah.
sharecroppers.
Yeah, disturbing.
Yeah,
Disturbing.
if you give them, even an AK-47 and tell them to fight, it's not going to happen.
Oh no,
It's not going to happen.
Have you heard about like those diseases they like have, like the people who cross the border? You know, what are they called? Like the people who run away from North Korea into South Korea?
Oh, defectors?
Defectors.
Yeah.
Have you ever read about that? Like the diseases they have and stuff?
No.
From like malnutrition, like
Oh my God.
they have like all sorts of like body stomach worms and like all sorts of
Jesus.
stuff. Yeah. Because they're just like
Oh my God.
they're eating like, you know, food grown in like, you know, human like fertilizer and like stuff like that. Like
Oh, they're not even using like livestock fertilizer.
No.
Jesus.
Like it's like even their nutrition is like so horrible there that like it was something crazy. Like this defector, North Korea defector had like something like 18 earthworms, or not earthworms, but you know, stomach worms.
That is so sad. As a Westerner, I feel bad that I'm just like sitting here talking on a podcast, drinking moon juice from Santan.
Right. Parasitic worms and chronic liver infection identified North Korean soldier who dramatically defected. Ugh, disturbing. Ugh. This was the guy who, in November, who ran away. He got like shot like 40 times.
He got shot 40 times.
Yeah, gangster, dude. He wanted to leave North Korea so bad. He's a gangster.
He actually like made it to South Korea with those gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that cool? One of the parasites removed from him was as long as 27 centimeters, more than 10 inches.
Oh my God.
One type of the worms discovered was typically found in dogs. Like, there's a picture of the worm. Oh.
What the fuck?
Disturbing, dude. He also had hepatitis B.
How is he living?
Dude, right? In North Korea. And he's part of the military.
See, and that's something that's been proven time and time again in history.
A 2015 study of 169 defectors from North Korea found that 17 of the subjects had parasites. Ugh.
I mean, weapons can win a war, but you have to feed your men. You know, you have to have morale.
Yeah, disturbing.
Yeah, if you don't feed the boys aren't gonna fight. You know, yeah. I mean, if they've got parasites, they're not gonna fight well. You know.
I'll fill my channel out, Alec. Thanks for the feedback. And John, I know Crypto will be pissed if I get a puppy. We have comments, Dakota.
That's fantastic.
I know.
That's so good to hear. We're not broadcasting into the abyss.
I know. Ooh, I wanted to talk to you about the Space Force. You're always wearing a fucking NASA t-shirt and shit.
Yep, not today actually, but yes.
That what you said about like feeding your soldiers. I was just talking to Tyler about this on my last podcast. Like the Space Force, like one of the main reasons we need one is to like protect our satellites.
Oh, okay.
And I've never really thought about this concept until I had that conversation of like what you just said, like feeding soldiers.
Sure.
Like, you know, like one of the ways we won wars in the past was like salt used to be used to preserve food. And so he's like General Custer or something like that went after the enemy's salt reserves. So they couldn't preserve food for soldiers anymore.
Oh, they couldn't smoke meat.
And that's how we won. It was like the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. Whatever fucking General Custer War that was. Whatever the fuck it was. But, so like back in the day, they used to go after food supplies.
To win.
To win wars. Because soldiers can't eat, they can't fight. Basic shit. But like in the future, if they attack our satellites and make it so we can't communicate, then we can't win a war.
You ever play Modern Warfare 3?
No.
I think it was the
Maybe.
third. I think it was the third Modern Warfare.
But like Neil deGrasse Tyson was just talking about it on a podcast of how that's like the most crucial thing we need to protect. Because if someone just went up and nuked our satellites, then we have no cell phones, we have nothing, bank transactions, we got no radar, you know, nothing. Like the first satellite that was launched was for radar. So
Are you talking about Sputnik?
It was like the first military
An
satellite.
actual military
Like
satellite.
the actual first one
I
put
think Sputnik
in the
was just a
sky.
demonstration. But yeah, I mean,
It's a fascinating concept to me. It sold me on the Space Force because I thought it was a big joke before that. And I was like,
Oh,
no,
sure.
we do need to protect satellites.
well, okay. Here's the one thing I'll say. Here's the one thing I'll say about that. Well, no, we're going to say a lot of things about it. If you take down another country's satellite, that is an immediate declaration of war.
Yeah.
And we're talking big time. If someone targeted a U.S. satellite, you're asking for trouble. Big trouble. You're asking for invasion is what you're asking for. And same thing, if we took down a Chinese satellite, holy shit.
Yeah, but what if they just took them all down at the same time and then we didn't know who it was because
Well,
we don't have any fucking satellites?
That's true. That's true. But you've got to think about how difficult it is to actually, and even in this day and age, think about the stuff that's happened recently with SpaceX. Right? SpaceX has a NASA contract. And even they have failures where, you have a rocket go up and a satellite. What this happened just last year where a huge, a massive investment of a satellite got launched into a decaying orbit and then it just fucking burnt up. And then you have rockets blowing up on takeoff. Still, to this day, unmanned vehicles just exploding on the launch pad. It's still really difficult to get into space.
Yeah.
People think that we've got it down, but really, it's an incredibly complex science. That's why people joke about it, like, oh yeah, rocket science. Oh, you're making this simple thing rocket science.
Yeah.
It's because it's actually really, really, really difficult. I can't say really enough.
Yeah.
The people that get paid to launch rockets get paid very, very well.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason. It's super hard. So to actually target a satellite that's moving at, we're talking hundreds of thousands of miles per hour in the upper atmosphere, low Earth orbit, and actually target all of them and take them all down or take a lot of them down at the same time would take an unbelievable amount of resources.
Yeah.
I'm talking enough jet fuel to fly every single plane in the world for 2 years, right? We're talking an unbelievable amount of computing power, an unbelievable amount of manpower.
Yeah.
To actually, and you can counter this, but I don't think it's a threat that we really need to be super worried about right now.
Well, not like today.
Not today. But we've got an administration that's talking about a space force, right? Oh, we gotta get a space force by 2020 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but other countries already have them.
Well, but they're fledgling, right?
Like China already has one.
China has one, but is it doing anything?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
How would we know?
That's true.
You know?
But you've got an air force currently that operates in all spheres of the globe. What I mean is the troposphere, the stratosphere, everything in between.
Yeah, they were
right?
owning space until now.
The Air Force is incredibly comprehensive in their scope, and the Navy is able to...
Are you saying you don't support the Space Force?
I'm saying that we could spend money elsewhere.
You're a Space Force denier.
I love... I'm just saying that's not the thing that we need to be worrying about right now.
You're right. You're probably right. I mean, Syria is a big, issue.
Siri?
Syria.
Oh, Syria.
Not Apple.
Siri blows.
Yeah. And, dude, there's live slave trading in the Middle East again.
Are you serious?
Libya? Yeah, you didn't know about that?
Oh my God. No.
You don't read the news, do you?
I just go on Google News occasionally and just see how the Russia investigation's going. That's all I'm interested in.
Where is it? Is it Libya? Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's a real thing. 2018, Libyan slave trade continues while militants kill and torture with impunity, UN says. That's a real thing. They're legitimately back to slavery.
So
in Syria, that's a real thing. There's women and children being sold for slaves.
But Syria is already completely torn by civil war.
Yeah. Well, you know why? It's because we destabilized the area under Obama's control. We overthrew their leader, and now the fucking...
Well, who's currently calling the shots over there?
Terrorists took over. I don't know, the Libyan.
This is some incredibly depressing shit.
I don't know. I don't retain facts like the way I should. I just read shit and then I get super angry and I remember how I feel. I don't remember every fact of like what I read, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
I'm just like, God damn it, slave trade and shit in Libya, it's Obama's fault? Well, fuck Obama then.
Well,
and then I'm like, and then I move on, you know what I mean?
You know, I find in my, I'm 23 years old, I find that it's hard enough to take care of myself. It's hard enough to keep my own blood pressure down.
Oh man.
So the news is not a great way to calm yourself. Yeah.
You're right. It's not.
No.
You're right.
No. You know, if you want to calm yourself, you can take up a hobby. You can make some short films, maybe. That's what I like to do. If I have the time. But yeah, reading the news is like it's good to keep up with current events. But, and this is something I have to remind myself of, you can't control that.
Oh no, you can't.
The only power that you have as a middle class person in America is voting. That's the only control that you have in anything that's happening globally.
You're right.
Right? So, and it's not even global. It's just domestic. I mean, if you elect certain leaders, they will enact certain foreign policy, but it's all super
Oh yeah, no, we
disconnected.
can't control any of that shit. It's
No.
just crazy, like knowing what's going on though,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
or like what we're involved in.
So get this. Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of Star Wars stuff around here. You know,
Yeah.
the Imperial Empire, right?
Yeah.
If you're a friend of the Imperial Empire, you're probably going to live a fine life, right? Unless you like live on a planet where, you know, they're doing like Imperial testing or something like that. But if you live in middle class Imperial society in Star Wars, you're probably doing all right. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As long as you're okay to just kind of, you know, lay low, just, you know, let the Emperor do his thing. You're just trying to support your family. You're living on Coruscant, whatever the fuck. Okay,
Yeah,
the Imperial
yeah,
Empire is
yeah.
doing whatever the fuck they do. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to live my life.
Yeah.
That's kind of like living in the United States of America, right?
Put your head down and ignore it.
Well, I'm just saying that we have our hands, our tendrils, in a lot of weird, shady shit all over the world, and it's all in the... Okay, and again, people, I'm a patriot. I swear to God, I you know, democracy is, you know, in my blood. But
Yeah.
you look back at Vietnam, you look back at the fight against communism. I mean, that really wasn't about communism. No, absolutely not. But you just, you know, you're living, just trying to keep your head down. You're living in a very wealthy country, a country that emits the most carbon dioxide out of any other country in the world. We consume the most. We throw away the most. I mean, are we the good guys? Are we really the good guys? I don't know.
I mean, in the global scheme of things, yeah, we're the good guys.
Are we the good
100%.
guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's what helps you sleep at night.
I mean, it depends on what perspective you have, though.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
It's like, are we helping more people than we're harming? Arguably, yes.
You say arguably.
Arguably, yes.
Why do you say arguably?
Well, because people would argue it the other way. Like, we're harming a lot of other people
Yeah.
that we have no business harming. So it's like, meh.
Meh.
But it's like, what other country is going to step up if we don't? Like, if the government just backed off of what we do military-wise, globally, like, the world would fall apart.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we have military resources in upwards of, like, hundreds of countries.
Yes, we do.
And
We
a
have
lot of people
huge
rely
presence.
on us for that, for just keeping stability.
Does
you
Japan
know?
does Japan still rely on us for that?
I don't know. We probably have military bases there still.
Oh, we absolutely do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my mother-in-law, she grew up on a Japanese naval base, but yeah. I mean, anyway, that's just food for thought, people. No points I'm making are absolute, and you can debate whatever you want. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard enough to take care of yourself. You just got to keep your head down sometimes, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
the things that happen locally are crazy enough. I mean, dude, Sheriff Joe Arpaio lost his primary. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
Me too.
I'm not even. remotely upset.
Well, he was running. I don't know what district he was running in, but he was up in Paradise Valley, I'm pretty sure. Or was it? Fountain Hills. He was representing the Fountain Hills area.
Oh, I don't know.
Which is super weird.
I couldn't believe he was running, honestly. I just think if he got elected to Senate, it was Senate, right?
Yes.
That's just a slap in the face to the rest of the fucking country. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
He was pardoned. He committed a felony while he was in office.
Yeah.
And he got pardoned by the president, one of the most controversial presidents ever in history.
Yes.
And then he has the balls to say, you know what?
I'm gonna
fucking go for Senate. Like, sheriff wasn't enough. Sheriff wasn't enough.
No. Mm-mm.
And it's like he wasn't even a good sheriff, you know?
Well, he was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's like, why run for Senate? He was garbage. He was a horrible person.
Would you do a week? Would you do a week in Tent City?
A week? Oh my God.
In the heat of the summer?
I can't believe that we allowed that to go on for so long, to be honest with you.
Tent City in like July.
I can't believe that even was allowed to happen.
People, Phoenix, Arizona is the hottest place on the continental United States. I mean, in between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. I mean, there's probably a couple places in Mexico that rival Phoenix, but Phoenix is fucking hot. And you've got people just like out in the middle of the desert, like near Anthem or something, just in tents.
Yeah.
In the midday sun, just working.
Yeah.
I can't believe that shit.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, and some people have argued like, oh, well, at least you get to sleep under the stars, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, in chains. I mean.
People said the most crazy shit to support that.
Yeah.
It was honestly pretty disturbing that we even had to have it was so fucked up that it was a global news conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Arizona has a prison outside in the heat.
Yes.
And people were like, really? That's crazy. And it was just like,
yeah.
Yep. Next day. Like, oh, we'll move on. And yeah, it was just like the most disturbing. But it was like he was racial profiling. He ordered his fucking employees to discriminate against Mexican people. Like, it's just like, it's disturbing.
Ridiculous.
Like, I'm all for stereotyping and whatever. Like, you see a suspicious car in the wrong neighborhood, great. But, like, you can't just say every Mexican person deserves to be pulled over.
Absolutely not. You know, when the and keep in mind, you know, we were both pretty young when the financial crisis of 2007, 2008 came along.
Yeah.
But I remember it to a degree. My family was affected. I'm sure yours was too.
Oh, yeah, heavily.
It was easy at that time to blame immigrants for your woes. You know, oh, well, they're going to come here, they'll take our fucking jobs, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's how, like, the media spun it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, what else do you do? People are losing jobs left and right. There's no market at all for any skilled workers. And then you've got an immigration crisis. And what do?
Yeah.
They're coming here to take our jobs.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, have you ever bought, like, a box of Driscoll's berries? You know? Like,
yeah.
Store? Yeah, well, that's the kinds of jobs they're taking. They're not taking your fucking office job.
They're taking landscaping jobs and, like, under-the-table cash jobs.
So, anymore, I think it's crazy to say that people are immigrating here illegally to take your job, especially with the kind of economy that we're going through right now.
Yeah. Well, an illegal immigrant's not qualified for a basic job. Like, you have to take, like, a cash paid under the table job.
You have to be willing to deal with an employer that risks
it's okay
that
with
stuff.
illegal immigrants. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like they're not like me. It's like my job's not being affected.
I worked in a warehouse. So I told you about this earlier when I came over, but I worked in a warehouse last summer through the winter too. And even they employed a lot of first generation immigrants over there, but they were legal immigrants and they were good people. But even they required you to come to the table with a driver's license and a secondary form of identification and a way to be able to tax you. That you had to prove that you were a citizen of the United States.
Yeah.
To work in this warehouse, right? Which is, I mean, I'm not saying that warehouse job is a bad job. I'm just saying that it's not like you're not like working on airplanes or something. You know, you're like packing boxes.
Right.
Right. Even they required you to come and prove you're a U.S. citizen.
Right.
There's no way that an immigrant is coming to take your job.
Right.
Because your employer wouldn't allow it.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. If they allowed it, the IRS, the FBI could come in and shut you down.
The people who are saying, like, they're taking our jobs and shit, most of those people either A, already have a job, or B, don't have a job and are actively trying to get one.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you even complaining about?
I don't know.
A bunch of you were saying they're taking our jobs. It's like, dude, you have a job.
You have a job.
What do you mean they're taking your jobs? You have one. What do you mean? Like, are you going for a second one and, like, they're getting that? Like, I don't.
I just want to keep my options open. I just
like,
want to keep my options open, bro.
You already have one.
I just want to keep my opportunities open. I want open jobs
it's like
always.
The most disturbing thing.
Well, it also translates into the refugee crisis. I hear a lot of people say,
dude, that's kind of scary in, like, France right now.
What's going on over there?
They're everywhere. They're just coming over in boats. I read about it on the news, like, every day.
Are they able to get work?
Oh, work? No, I don't know. My buddy Alex said, "Who's Dakota Jones?" Dakota Jones is this guy right here.
Yeah, I can say a little bit about who I am. So I'm just a normal guy from Northern California, born in the farm town of Modesto, California. Very dusty, very gross there, but lived in Arizona for the last 12 years. Met this guy in Flagstaff. We were, privileged enough to get a post-secondary education.
Privileged.
Like the, Western assholes that we are. And then I actually ended up working for him for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, well, at least he was my supervisor. And then we just both happened to end up in Phoenix. So I make movies. That's who I am. I try to, anyway.
Right.
Corporate video.
Fuck off, John.
Yeah.
We got some shit talkers in this chat.
That's okay. I mean, we're talking pretty political.
Never
shit
had
right
chat before. It's kind of cool. I enjoy it. I forgot what I was Googling before you introduced yourself.
That's okay. We can get away from politics.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
We hear enough about that shit.
I tried to go into the Space Force, and it didn't last long.
Oh, well, the Space Force is silly. I really just think we should be focusing on climate change right now, personally, but no one gives a shit about that. So
No?
No.
What's your thoughts on climate change?
I have very, very passionate thoughts about climate change. I think it's an absolute tragedy.
What do you think about you've been following like Bullion Slat and like the ocean cleanup project?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ocean cleanup project is fine. If Indonesia would stop pouring their goddamn shit in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, we've got countries that aren't developed enough to handle their waste. And so what do? They pour it in the water. That's what we used to do. At the turn of the century, New York City just put all their trash on barges and then just eventually just let the barges sink. Mm-hmm. And then all that shit just ended up going in the ocean.
Well, back in the day, yeah. I mean, they used to just have runoff or sewage into
waterways.
Yeah.
I mean, where else it ends up going into the water? Think about this. This is kind of crazy. If you ditch a water bottle on the side of the road, right, and we're in the desert of all places, right, it will almost guarantee, well, not almost guaranteed, but it could likely end up in the ocean, even with us being in the desert here. And here's how. So you ditch a bottle on the side of the road, okay, whatever, who gives a shit? And then a monsoon comes along, and the rain washes that bottle into the storm system. So the water goes and travels out some irrigation ditch, and that bottle ends up eventually, wind, water, other influences involved, starts making its way towards the Colorado River. And that bottle ends up in the Colorado River somewhere down by Yuma. And then the Colorado River eventually reaches the ocean. Well, it used to anyway. But during flooding season, it actually charges into the ocean. And boom, your bottle ends up in the ocean. And it's going to take a while, but it eventually happens. That's why littering was demonized in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because somehow it ends up in a really bad place.
Yeah.
Not to mention it looks like shit on the road.
There was a lot of hippies back then, too. So
yeah, but I mean,
we could use some more hippies. But what do you think we should be doing about climate change in general?
It's one of those issues that I feel like we should address, but it's almost impossible to address.
Yeah.
Because
most people don't believe in it, right?
Well, actually, that's changing. And maybe I'm being optimistic, but I really think that's changing. Think about every major media outlet, including Fox News, agrees climate change is happening. Fox News has run so many stories about how like LA is like in certain bids to tackle climate change for this or that or whatever. They've run stories on climate change. People are talking about it. That was something, 10 years ago, It was like cool to deny climate change because like it's a debated science, blah blah blah. But now people are actually talking about it.
Yeah.
I would say that slightly over half of Americans really agree it's a big problem. And you don't have to agree it's a big problem to believe in it. You could say, oh, yeah, the climate's changing, it's getting hotter, but I don't think it's something we need to focus on. But you still admit that it's real.
Yeah.
Right? But it's one of those issues that I don't know how we're going to tackle it. We have a society that, look at the operation in this room right now. We're using electricity that's generated by fossil fuel in some shape or form, if not like base load generated by nuclear power here in Phoenix. But we depend on it. We have to have electricity. We have to have energy.
Yeah.
It's the way we live. And it's liberated us in many ways. The human race has been liberated by energy in many ways. We can get anywhere that we need to within, 14 hours. You can fly anywhere in the world within 20 hours, and that's never been able to been done before in all human history.
Yeah.
These kinds of conveniences we can't just be like, no more flights, cars, those are done for. You can't drive cars anymore. No one will enact policy like that. We can't do that. Yeah. We can't go backwards.
But what should we do about it though?
Well, we're gonna,
it's clearly like a well-known issue. Like for the Olympics in Beijing, like they literally told people to not work for 2 days to lower the pollution in the city.
That's ridiculous.
You didn't know that?
That's insane.
Yeah, like
just so the games could be nice, so the games could look nice.
Yeah, it was like a national holiday type deal
so where the pollution would lower.
Yeah, to get public transportation to stop running and all that shit, so pollution would go down, so air quality would be somewhat better for the games. So it's like a known thing across the world, but it's like, what are we gonna do about it?
Well, you could hearken it to 100 different issues. We all have problems that we ignore, right? You go to the doctor and the doctor tells you something and you don't want to address it because it's going to have to ensue a major lifestyle change, right?
Yeah.
If the doctor told you like, you got high cholesterol, well, you really like bacon, don't you? Or like, I enjoy the way I live. I don't want to have to adjust to address this cholesterol problem.
Yeah.
I know that's a small
example. No one
example.
wants to adjust to climate change. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Like the fact that I got over here from across the valley in 20 minutes is incredibly convenient. I don't want to have to hook up my horse to my carriage and drive, clippity clop over here and take a day to get from Gilbert, Arizona to Phoenix. We're in Phoenix. We're technically in the municipality of Phoenix. That's unacceptable nowadays. That's not going to ever happen. So, and everyone knows that. That's why climate change is allowed to, continue. I think what's crazy is what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start geoengineering things. We're going to actually have to take humans like control, right? Yeah. We love control. We like to control our social circles. We like to control the things that we eat. We control the way that we live our lives through and through.
Yeah.
We're going to have to start controlling our environment. We're going to have to literally start engineering the planet to act the way we need it to act. Yeah. The only reason that you and I are here talking right now is because the planet was in a Goldilocks zone around its star.
That's true.
And we're going to have to start adjusting our planet to comply with what we need. We need crop yields.
Is it possible to start making more oil? Like
synthetic oil?
Like fossil fuels, they're made out of fossils, right? It's oil that in theory was made by oh Jesus.
Bless.
Woo. Was made by the bones, over millions of years, getting pushed down
old organisms
and blah blah blah. Can we just start taking human bodies and putting them in big fucking? So many people die every day, right? Can we just smush our bones and shit into the earth and compact them and start making oil that way?
And I'm just a generalist speaking, you know.
Matrix
I'm just,
style,
I'm
like
just a
batteries.
citizen.
People will just be batteries for the planet.
It sounds like the Matrix to me.
That's what I mean, Matrix style.
Well, the process of turning a living organism into crude oil takes hundreds of millions of years. To accelerate that process would be ridiculous. However, there's this Canadian company called Carbon Engineering. They're located in Calgary. They recently proved that you could take a single ton, a metric ton of carbon dioxide and turn it into liquid fuel, into actual synthetic gasoline
Carbon dioxide?
in the air, the stuff that's causing climate change.
How do you do that?
So they have this facility in Calgary, which is like, it looks like a factory, right? But it's got these big turbines that suck in air, right?
Yeah.
And the air goes through a chemical process where they run the air through this trellis, and the trellis has liquid. It's like a basic liquid. By basic, I mean like versus acidic, right?
Yeah.
And so the air runs through this liquid, and the carbon dioxide sticks to the minerals in that liquid. And then they're able to run it through a couple different chemical processes to isolate the carbon dioxide and actually change the carbon into synthetic gasoline. It's very intensive, but they can do it. And they can do it for $100 a ton. They actually got the price to $100 a ton, and a metric ton.
That's fascinating.
It's really cool. It's really cool, but it's probably what we're going to have to end up doing on a global scale, because I think humans emit 9 gigatons of carbon dioxide every year. Gigatons. I mean, we're talking a shitload of carbon dioxide, right? Not to mention other greenhouse gases.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to have to start happening. I mean, we're probably going to have to start by the mid 2030s. We're probably, policy, hopefully, unless dictator Trump stays around, we're going to need to have policy that makes carbon removal viable, because otherwise,
Good Lord.
well, what are you going to do about crop yields? Every degree of warming that happens, crop yields drop by 10%, according to a recent study. So think about how much land that we have producing food for humans and livestock.
It's not a lot.
Oh, it's a it's a shitload.
But in like relative proportion to like land, we don't have a whole lot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because we don't have a lot of land that exists in climatic conditions to viably produce food. If you have the world warming
That's what
up,
I mean. Like,
yeah.
like Arizona, we can't fucking grow food here.
No.
Like, we don't have a whole lot of land that we grow food on.
You need water. You need water that stays liquid, and you need good soil.
Yeah.
And if you have the world warming up degree by degree by degree Celsius, you can't grow food anymore. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
That's the big problem. And then if you have ice caps melt, then you have that feedback effect where we're no longer reflecting light into space. And then you have a world that's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter, Anyway, it's super dark, but it's true.
We're all going to die.
That's already going to happen.
Oh, right.
That's the natural progression of
global warming
life.
Is going to come fucking kill us all.
It wouldn't be a podcast with Dakota Jones without talking about that. That was actually something
man.
I fell in love with film when I was a young boy, 6th grade. I loved stop action animation. I had my Legos, man. That's where it all started, was Legos. You know, like I realized I could take a camera and take a picture and move a Lego and take a picture and move a Lego.
Take 10 pictures and have a scene, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Actually more like 100 pictures if you want to make it look good. But
it's more like, what is it? It's actually like one picture for every frame, so it's like 24 photos for every second.
Yes. If you want to really...
Would be ideal for stop action animation.
That's what Tim Burton does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like semi-professionals do like 12 frames a second because that's a little bit more manageable, because we're live streaming on Twitch right now at probably 30 frames a second or
30,
something. Yeah. So that's super easy to do when you're doing live action, but when you're actually manipulating characters, that gets really fucking tedious.
That's like some super nerdy film shit. They're like, I just know, I'm like, yeah, it's 24 frames a second, and people are like, what the fuck? It's like, no, it's 24 frames for every second in the film. Yeah,
you have to produce the illusion of motion. However, there was a point I turned 16 and I could get in a car, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, can finally drive. Thank God.
Yeah.
And I started to hear about this thing called global warming and how cars are somehow tied to that. And I really like cars. I love cars to this day. I think cars are hilarious.
Yeah.
And
you're supporting global warming.
yeah, by liking cars, apparently, and driving them. But at 16, I'm like, what's this global warming stuff? I don't know what this is. I'm just in high school, blah blah blah. And then not originally, that's the wrong word. Eventually, realized that the way that I live has a global impact. There's an externality to the way that I live. The fact that I fill up my car with gas and drive it around is actually affecting the way that the climate works.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. And because I have a firm belief in science. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't really give science enough credit,
Yeah.
The way that we live is a product of science, So when I heard that climate change was a thing, I totally bought in. Immediately bought in and tried to learn everything I could about it. And I actually got a minor at NAU. Oh, a minor. Oh, at a state college.
I didn't get a minor, actually.
Well, that's probably. That allowed you to focus more on smoking weed.
Yeah, it did. It did. That was my minor, actually.
I remember this kid you'd wear like Marvel shirts and stuff, and like you had gauges that were like Superman gauges.
Oh yeah,
do you still have those?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, fantastic. It's weird. It's like I love film and I love studying climate change. It's the weirdest combo in the world. I'd love to make a movie about climate change.
Yeah,
like a fictional film that actually explores
one.
Yeah, that explores the impacts of unchecked climate change. I'd love.
Not like Day After Tomorrow.
Not necessarily. That's like very like doomsday. Like there's a fucking wave.
I love that movie so much. I love it. Dennis Quaid.
It's going to be much more subtle than that. Dennis Quaid.
I love that movie so much. I really do. Anytime it's on TV, I'll fucking watch that shit.
Fantastic.
I love that movie. It's so entertaining.
Well, you just got to love Dennis. He's a good boy.
Oh, and Jake Gyllenhaal.
So good. You ever see Nightcrawler?
Yeah, I like Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
it's creepy.
It's a disturbing movie.
Yeah, it was disturbing.
Yeah. But I know you like writing movies. So I've always thought about. You ever hear about what's that movie called? It's got the guy that plays Captain America. What's his name?
Chris Evans.
He stars in this movie. It's called. Oh my God, what is it called? It's like a climate change movie. It happens on a train. Whatever, I can't remember the name. Anyway, it's a movie about how these scientists tried to combat climate change with these geoengineering experiments, and they went horribly wrong. And so the world freezes over. And he and the rest of humanity, which is like a couple thousand people, live on this train. And this train just like circles the globe like 24/7.
What movie is this?
Look it up. It's Chris Evans. Just look up Chris Evans train movie.
Chris Evans train movie.
What is it called?
Snowpiercer.
Thank you. Snowpiercer. That's what it's called. Yes. Yeah, so Snowpiercer is about how this climate change experiment goes awfully wrong and the world freezes over because they try to geoengineer the planet to address the warming, right?
Cool.
So then they live on this train. These people live on this train and all this shit ends up going awry. But like, we got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
What do you trust more? Do you trust Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb more?
I don't really trust people's opinions on movies. Honestly.
That's probably good.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I wanted to get into movies was because I felt like I could make movies better than other people could. Like, I'd watch them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why'd you do that shit in this scene? Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking change that. This is bullshit. Like, that type of shit.
Sure, yeah.
But I think I'm still the same way. Like, I go into most movies pretty open-minded. Like, I'll hear a movie's just garbage. People are like, oh, it's fucking terrible, dude. Like, whatever. Can't believe you're going to see that. And I'm like, all right.
Sure.
And then I'll go see it. I'm like, it was awesome. I thought it was great. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
And I don't really care about, like, I definitely read opinions. But, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, whatever.
How does Rotten Tomatoes make money? They're like,
probably ads.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they probably put their shit on other
Oh, you know what though? People will like say like, oh yeah, like this movie is certified fresh.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Don't they have to pay Rotten Tomatoes to use that?
Probably, yeah.
That's how they make
That's
money. That's
probably
how
a
they make money.
trademarked.
Exactly.
term.
So you have to actually pay Rotten Tomatoes to say that you're certified fresh on an
They
ad.
just make money on advertising.
There you go. There you go.
And it's owned by Fandango. So there you go.
So Fandango, they aggregate movie tickets, right? So
Rotten Tomatoes is just a spin-off of it.
okay, well, there you go. Okay, wow. See, work smarter, not harder. I guess it's the name of the game in making money. Is how can I make someone's life easier, a bunch of people's lives easier, and make a ton of money without doing anything? Rotten Tomatoes, like that's how they did it. Is okay. Well, we're just going to provide a forum for people to talk shit about movies, and then get paid to have our little tomato, PNG file get put in the movie trailers. Boom.
Pretty much.
Millionaire. Can't believe that.
God. Yeah, I never really go on to Rotten Tomatoes, to be honest. Like, ever. I usually just do IMDb.
Yeah.
I've never really gone to Rotten Tomatoes to, like, read anything. Just because
yeah.
I don't care about people's opinions. Like, there's so many people. Like, every Star Wars movie gets trashed lately. Every fucking one.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's terrible.
How was Solo? I didn't end up seeing it.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I could have gone without it.
I feel like everyone said that though.
It was not. It's not what I wanted out of a Star Wars movie. Like, like I want Jedi, I want fucking action and shit. Like it was a cool introduction to his character, but I could have gone without it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like it wasn't anything. Like they do the whole Kessel run. He did the Kessel run in 12 parsecs or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that is in the movie, but they don't even like explain it fully to the point where it's like significant. It's just kind of like he has to get to this place as fast as possible, and that is technically what they call the Kessel run.
That's literally the plot. The Kessel run's the plot.
No, it's like at the end.
Oh.
It's really weird. It's not like a well put together movie. Like I was trying to explain it to someone, and like they didn't do anything to make me care about Han Solo in the movie.
Oh.
Like if I didn't know he was Han Solo, I wouldn't have cared about him.
So
like
the character development was pretty poor.
It was pretty bad. Like they didn't
How did Disney fuck up on that?
I don't know. Probably because it's just a pre-existing character, I imagine, and they didn't want to solely focus on like building this emotional bond with Han Solo. But like, it was genuinely the type of movie like if he died, I wouldn't have cared. Like, do you know what I mean?
They failed.
Like, if the ship blew up, I would have been like, oh,
well, there goes Han Solo.
I would have been like, no. The savior of the Jedi race died. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure,
like, it
yeah.
was just like, oh, well, this like smuggler just died. That's unfortunate.
I mean, dude, there's two huge components to screenwriting. It's you got to deliver an interesting plot and really robust characters. It sounds like they really failed to like they essentially just like used the fact that he was Han Solo as a crutch to just ignore his character development.
In the comments, Alex said it was all right. Worst of all the new movies. It was a fun film. Is the best way I could say it.
Yeah.
It was definitely the worst of the new
enough.
movies. Yeah, I just wish they'd stop doing these like bullshit things that like no one cares about. Like, give us an Obi-Wan movie already, or a Darth Maul movie, or a Darth Vader movie.
And Disney has been so vehemently opposed to touching the prequels. They don't want to touch them.
I just don't get it though. It's like there's so much storyline between him becoming Darth Vader in Episode 3 and A New Hope in Episode 4. Like, there's so much story. There's 20 or 30 years of stories they could do.
They don't want to touch it for some reason.
Like, Darth Vader. I want to see Darth Vader, like, flying around whooping ass with his lightsaber. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to see him in a cockpit of a ship flying to a planet like, I'm going to go fuck some shit up today. And then he goes and fucking kills a bunch of people. I want to see that. Like, I want to see some, like, the scene in Rogue One.
Yes.
Where he comes out and he lights his lightsaber and whoops ass. I want to see 2 hours of that.
That scene is the best part of that entire movie, which Rogue One was also awesome. I have this, like, It's weird, but I have this this love for robots in movies for some reason. I've always identified with robots in movies, like especially robots that have personalities. And so that robot in Rogue One, like how he just like goes out like a gangster, is so fucking sad to me. Like remember when he's like protecting like the comm portal or the terminal there, and he's just like fucking shooting like all
What's his name? It's K. Is it K?
Something. I don't know what his name is.
I can't remember.
It's okay, but he's such a badass in that movie. He just has a directive, right? Like protect this terminal, you know? And he's just like shooting the Imperial officers left and right. And he just goes out like such a hero. I always have had like, it gives me chills to think about the robots in pop culture in general that have gone out like heroes. You know, like you ever see that movie Short Circuit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that Johnny Five. Johnny Five is awesome. He ends up like protecting that lady from her abusive boyfriend, and that just like makes me just like warms my heart, you know? He's just a fucking robot.
Have you ever seen KS20?
Thank you.
K2.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alec.
That's he's awesome. You know?
Have you seen that killer robot movie from the 80s? I have it in my living room or on my DVD shelf. Fuck.
Do you know who's in it?
No, I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
Tell me what it's about. I might be able to help you.
It's like a robot video game where like it levels up, and as it levels up, it starts getting more deadly, and it like gains more like ammunition to use. Like it's like level 1, and it like shoots little darts at you. And, like, you, like, shoot back, and, like, you're, like, it's, like, this interactive little robot video game. And then by, like, level 5, you know, it's, like, level 5, like, killer mode or whatever. And it's, like, sucking up BBs and marbles that it finds in, like, the kid's room and, like, hurtling them and, like, killing people at that point.
Oh.
And, like, so it starts finding, like razors and, like, nails and shit and like shooting and it goes on like this rampage and starts killing all these people.
That seems that seems fairly abstract to me. That's underground. I don't think I've ever heard of that movie. That sounds wacky. I hate to be a victim of that machine.
Oh god damn it. What is it called? It's on my fucking DVD shelf, man.
If you could get up and go take a look. Yeah, wow. It sounds
I can't remember.
Obscure. That's the word I'm looking for. Obscure.
I think you would enjoy that movie though. It was like one of my favorites as a kid.
What's that one movie called? Like Small.
I can't remember what it is.
You remember that movie Small Soldiers?
Yeah, Small Soldiers.
Dude.
Or like Indian in the Cupboard.
Yeah.
I like Indian in the Cupboard.
I've never seen Indian in the Cupboard.
Really?
No.
Kind of same thing.
Oh yeah.
Or like that one, is it Indian in the Cupboard? Where he like puts the toys in the cupboard and they come to life?
Ooh, that's spooky.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it though.
Really?
That's awful.
I think that is Indian in the Cupboard.
Highly recommend watching Small Soldiers though. That movie, if you haven't seen it since your childhood, will trip you out. This is weird.
Yeah, they turn out to be. Yeah, he puts toys in the cabinet. They like come to life.
So the cabinet actually animates them. Yeah. No, 1995, the year of my birth. There you go.
This is like Toy Story shit. Like everyone's trying to get on the Toy Story train.
Yep, exactly.
Like,
Toy Story
we have an idea for live toys.
Exactly. Not totally.
Toy Soldiers, this one?
Yeah, no. It's Small Soldiers.
Oh, Small Soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love this movie.
Yeah. They like put like this like top secret military chip into these toys, and
I remember
gives them
watching
intelligence.
this as a kid like so many times.
It's actually, it starts off innocent enough. It becomes incredibly disturbing. It becomes disturbing.
Yeah.
Like these toys actually end up trying to kill the family.
It gets really serious
because they're after these the alien toys. You know, in the story that's developed with this toy line. You know,
yeah.
It's like GI Joes versus aliens. You know, and they're just like trying to genocide these aliens. They're actually really awful. You know, yeah. Anyway, watched that a while back. That was awful.
They said they love Indian in the Cupboard when they're frying the Barbies and shit.
Oh my god!
You gotta watch Indian in the Cupboard, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go home and watch that.
Man,
We'll do a follow-up podcast
it's
where we talk about that
talking
movie.
to people about their like. I want to do like a whole podcast just talking about like 90s memories.
Oh, hey, have you seen that trailer? That movie that Jonah Hill's coming out with?
Yeah, growing up in the 80s or whatever.
I think it's called
In the 80s.
It's called Mid 90s.
Oh, it's called Mid. No, there's an 80s one too.
Really? Yeah, if you look up mid 90s, that'll come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do know what you're talking about. I watched this. This looks awesome.
Yeah, so I keep on seeing that trailer every time I go see a movie. It looks pretty good. I don't know what the plot's going to be necessarily, but just like looks like there's like just drugs and coming of age,
It seems like this is a popular theme lately.
Yes,
The
ever
kind
since
of-
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, everything from about 40 to 30 years ago is coming back strong.
Yeah.
People are really nostalgic right now.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's
Yeah.
like everyone's super into this. It's called, I know there's one called like Growing Up in the 80s.
Have you ever heard of vaporwave?
I have not.
Look it up.
Vaporwave.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Macintosh Plus? That's where it's-
Macintosh Plus.
That's where, so vaporwave, there it is. Vaporwave is a genre of music. It's like a subculture, kind of like cyberpunk,
Uh-huh.
It's essentially like a reimagination of the 80s and 90s where like corporate America is like the quintessential governing law, where consumerism is king. And the music and videos or whatever is totally tailored to that. So like when you listen to a vaporwave song, it's typically like a Michael Jackson song, just slowed down, like slowed down by like 50%.
It says it's like died off.
Oh, vaporwave is not popular much anymore.
It says how vaporwave was created then destroyed by the internet. Writing about vaporwave in 2016 is almost impossible.
Well, I will tell you, if you get on SoundCloud, there are still people making vaporwave.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's not hard to. Well, okay. I'll eat my words right there. I don't think I could make vaporwave, but the way that a lot of people do it is that they just find a Janet Jackson song or I don't know, fucking Devo song and just slow it down in tempo. It's fantastic though. I'll tell you, some vaporwave stuff I've heard is better than the original songs. It's groovy as hell. It's so groovy. And if you have any kind of qualm with consumer culture, it's like totally hilarious.
That's very interesting.
So like you'll like look up a vaporwave mix on YouTube and the cover art will be like a McDonald's ad. It's like come eat at McDonald's ... space ...
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. It's super bleak, but I mean if you have any sort of depression at all, it's super rewarding.
So weird.
Vaporwave. Yeah, is that an artist or is that a playlist?
I don't know. It's just vapor_wave.
If you hit play on that, will your sound card actually input it into the playlist or into the podcast?
I just have speakers, so it'll pick up on our. I'm working on that. That's like my next thing to do.
Well, that's like the hardest thing to do is actually make your sound card produce sound for a recording because it's like anti-piracy shit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Like I've tried
I
to.
do. You don't want to do that. But.
Well, you can record your screen, right? But you can't get audio for the life of you. And then there's like little like hacks that you could do to your computer to like make your sound card actually be a recording source. But
probably
they never
more
work.
concerning if I like was actually making money off of this or anything at this point.
Oh, then
know
you would
what I mean?
actually try to invest time into getting that to work.
No. I mean, if like I would be more concerned about getting sued for like playing that song if I was like a popular podcast making money.
I can guarantee you though, like every vaporwave song is just a remix of another song.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like vaporwave only exists because of fair use. If fair use didn't exist, that entire genre wouldn't.
Yeah.
No one makes money off of vaporwave. People just like it.
That's interesting. Vaporwave.
Vaporwave actually influenced me into buying like this shirt, right? It was like a baseball shirt.
Really?
Like green sleeves, white torso, and on the torso it had the old Windows 95 logo on it. And I was like, yeah, this shirt is fucking sick, I spent like $30 on it.
I love retro shit. So at
Yeah.
the mall last weekend, I wanted to buy this fucking tank top. I think at Hot Topic. I can't remember where. The tank top, the whole tank top was all purple, full purple, and then the middle of it was the Game Boy Color. So all it was the screen and then the buttons, and it said Game Boy Color on it. So it's your purple Game Boy Color, and it's a tank top. And I was like, that is the best fucking tank top ever.
That kind of that gets a little bit more creative than just like the classic NES controller that people wear. Like, I'm classically trained.
I got my NES right there on the floor.
Yeah, I see that actually. So do you like that? That thing, dude. You couldn't buy one of those because they were selling out so quick.
I know. I bought 2 of them.
Well,
I shouldn't have said that.
You fucking bastard.
Yeah, my second one's on the shelf up there.
I shouldn't have said that. Dude, you got to save some for the rest of us.
I shouldn't have said that. I bought one for my brother.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
For Christmas.
Oh, well, then that's fine.
So hopefully he doesn't listen to this, but anyway.
Oh.
That's what I meant by I shouldn't have said that. But now I just went hard on the podcast and saying it, so now he knows if he listens.
Where does your brother live here in the valley? Or
Tucson.
Oh.
I have 2 brothers. One's in Ohio right now.
Oh, okay, nice.
In Tucson, yeah.
I'm going to make a weird connection, but Glee happened in Ohio.
Glee?
Yeah, the show.
I never watched Glee.
You know what? I never did either, but it's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And it's actually not bad. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
That's why it was a big deal when that one guy on that show died from a heroin overdose.
I remember that. That's
he was really good in that.
The most I remember about that whole show is that guy died.
It's clever as hell.
That was like one of those times when it was like, oh, this like huge teen star died from heroin, and people were like, what? He does drugs? And it's like, yeah, the real world still exists outside TV.
Yep.
Hello.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's an opiate crisis going on.
Yeah, Demi Lovato just fucking OD'd like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. It's good that she's doing well.
Fucking A.
Yeah, but I mean, Jeff Sessions, if you're listening right now, weed is not the problem.
Yeah, opiates are a big one.
Yeah, that's the real problem that the Justice Department should be focusing on. That's just me.
I don't want to talk about drugs, though. Let's go back to Netflix.
Yes.
What are you watching on Netflix? We just binge watched Jack Ryan this weekend.
Oh, really?
It just came out on Amazon.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's sweet.
The John Krasinski, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan.
That's right. John Krasinski was getting into that.
It's 8 episodes. We finished it last night.
It was good enough to watch the whole 8.
So good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, who do you think did Jack Ryan better, Chris Pine or John Krasinski?
This is so good.
Yeah?
It's so good.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Man, he's glowing up right now.
Yeah. I did like Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan, though.
Oh, did he also do Jack Ryan?
He was Jack Ryan in The Sum of All Fears with...
okay, of course, because
it was like 15 years ago.
There's movies that are, that have Jack Ryan in them, but they're not...
Yeah.
Is Jack Ryan also like... Hunt for Red October? Is that a Jack Ryan movie?
Hunt for Red October?
Yeah, with
it might be.
I think it is. That's a Jack Ryan movie. And like Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah, I think Hunt for Red October is.
Yeah, that was the first Jack Ryan movie ever made.
Yeah, Jack Ryan, Alec Baldwin.
Yes. Which is actually a pretty good movie. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, no,
dude, that's a good
I
movie.
think I have, but not for like a really long time.
Oh, likewise. It's been like 7 years for me. But
what are you watching right now on Netflix, though?
Well, so we've been, we actually just finished the first season of Atypical. Have you ever heard of that movie or that show?
Atypical?
No. It's a Netflix original. It's I don't. There's not a lot of press about it right now, but it's a show about a high schooler with autism.
It's called Atypical?
Atypical.
Oh, with Jennifer Jason Leigh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah, so it explores the life of a high schooler with autism and his desires to get a girlfriend and like the inner workings of his family. And I mean, that sounds pretty plain, but it was really well done. And that's something I'm always impressed with and this is something I think as filmmakers, like student filmmakers, right? Because we were both student filmmakers at one point. There's this syndrome. I don't know what to call it necessarily, but it's like the 2 people in an apartment syndrome, where like a writer is like, oh, I don't have money to make a movie, so I'm just gonna write a movie about 2 people in an apartment, right?
Yeah.
That's like that happens so much in the student filmmaking community.
Yep.
They took that same kind of budget with Atypical, like, okay, we're gonna it's just a family. We're going to make a movie about it. We're going to make it. God, why do I keep on saying a movie? We're going to make a show about a family. These kids are going to high school, super low budget, and we're just going to roll with it. And they made it really interesting because they actually went into the head of an autistic high schooler. And it personally made me understand a little bit more about what people with autism deal with on the day-to-day.
Yeah.
The one criticism that they got, though, was that they didn't actually cast an autistic actor.
Oh my god, dude, that is the worst fucking thing.
It's worse than genocide.
Oh my god. No, I don't think them casting someone is the worst fucking thing. The worst fucking thing is people are outraged about that these days, and it needs to stop. Like,
goddamn,
fucking microphone. Scarlett Johansson lost out on doing that movie, backed out on doing that movie about the transgender woman or whatever.
Because she's not transgender?
Because they freaked out because she's not transgender. And it's like, okay, how many fucking transgender actresses are out there on the A-list caliber that are going to draw the attention to this movie that fucking Scarlett Johansson is? So now no one's going to see the movie. You got your wish.
Yep.
No one's going to see it. A no-name actress is going to be in it. No one fucking cares about the movie anymore.
Congratulations.
And
you killed it. You killed it.
It's like, what do you fucking want the outcome to be? You either want it to be a transgender actress and no one sees the movie, or you want it to be an A-list actress doing her best to do a good job for that community and shed light on the issue and bring a lot of viewers to the movie. Like, it's like you can't have it both ways.
It's and that's the word that you have to focus on is A-list.
Yeah.
Right. High profile.
Yeah.
Advertisable names.
Yeah.
You have it's actually a small pool, really, of relevant actors and actresses.
How many
it's a small
autistic
pool.
actors are out there
I don't know.
could have acted on the caliber of this teenager?
I don't know.
And done a good job in the show. It's like you can't have that form of outrage culture in the acting community. You can't.
Being a casting director has historically been a hilariously difficult job, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to balance what's relevant in society with what's going to work well for your characters, right?
Yeah.
You need to work with your director.
And with your budget.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big one.
They're like, hey, get an actress who's worth $20 million, who's transgender. Okay, there aren't any.
Exactly. And so how are we going to drive traffic towards our movie or our show? You're not going to if you just cast a nobody. It's not going to happen. So anyway, some people tell us to go to hell for saying that stuff, but it's true. Anyway, regardless of that, Atypical is a really good show. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. It's easy to watch too. It's just like, it's lighthearted, and there's actually some pretty juicy shit that happens in that show, though. There's like some like an affair going on and that sort of deal within the family. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
Second season's coming out in September. I know we're gonna go back and watch that when the second that comes out. I think it's September 7th or something like. Oh, it's September right now. What am I talking about? I still think it's August.
What is it? The third.
The third. Yeah, it's the third.
God damn.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's what we've been watching, and then we always come back to The Office. I'm sorry, like.
We watch The Office like every night. Sam likes to fall asleep to The Office, so
it's so good.
It's like always on.
I'm telling you, the first and second season is so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like,
I can't really watch like season 8 and 9 because they get really weird for me. Like the sweet spot I like to watch is like season like 2 to season like 5.
Those are the golden years.
Yeah.
Golden years, yeah. Because then when does Saber come along? Like when they get bought out by Saber? Like season 5? I think it's season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it starts getting a little weird. And you know, you got to consider the decisions that the writers are making. You know, you have a show that's run for 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
You need new content, you need new characters, and you need an excuse to introduce new characters.
Some of them are really bad. Like I was watching one of the episode, it was like season 7 or 8 the other day, and they're doing like a paper airplane contest in the warehouse. And I was just like, Jesus, they were just stretching for material at this point. Like, hey, we haven't done a paper airplane contest and we're at a paper company. Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
like, oh shit, we should do that.
Have you ever heard of the, of course you have, you watch Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad. I've seen it all.
You remember the episode called The Fly? I don't know if you remember that episode.
Vaguely. Is it the one where they're putting sticky traps up in the...
They're trying to catch a fly in the
Yeah,
meth lab.
in the meth lab.
That's the whole
And they
episode.
put up a shitload of sticky traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that episode is considered to be garbage in the filmmaking community.
Yeah.
Like they needed some way to bridge, if I'm remembering correctly, they needed some way to bridge like 2 weeks of content, and they just needed a goddamn episode, you know?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, what if a fly got in the meth lab? And that's the entire episode. You know you're really stressed for content when you have to resort to like, oh, the plot is us chasing a fly.
It's like they couldn't have done anything else. They couldn't have done fire in the meth lab.
Sure, exactly.
They couldn't have done like Walter has a cold. Like
it's bad. Yeah.
You know.
So yeah,
it was really bad. That episode was really bad.
Yeah.
Now that you bring that up.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to watch it again, check it out. It's disgraceful. Yeah, for such a good show.
That is really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Breaking Bad was the shit though. They're reviving. Did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
I've only seen a few episodes of Sons of Anarchy,
man.
but what I've watched is pretty decent.
You got to get on that. That was a show I resisted watching for a long time.
Why?
Like, all my friends were like, "You got to watch it. You got to watch it." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
It was just, to me, I was like, it's like a bike gang show. I don't care. Like, you know, it's just like whatever. It's just like the concept to me wasn't something I was interested in.
Sure.
And then once I finally sat down and watched like the first 2 episodes, I was like, "Holy shit, this is fucking badass!" Like killing people.
Where does it take place? L.A.
Where does it take? Yeah, in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they're just like gangster bike riders. Like, you know, they're killing people, selling drugs. Like,
it's juicy.
but now they're reviving like the spin-off or whatever. It's called the MiAZ. It comes out, I think, this week.
Is it like a Netflix original, or is it an original of internet company like Amazon?
No, it's on
or...
FX.
Oh, okay. So FX is doing it.
Yeah.
That's
the spin-off.
Cool.
FX is doing
Nice.
too. Yeah.
Okay. Was it originally on FX? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Ozark.
that's cool.
Did you see Ozark?
You know what? Actually, my
Netflix?
father-in-law watched all of Ozark, and he's
Ozark.
recommended it a ton of times.
Ozark season 2 just came out. I'm fucking psyched to watch it.
That's a Netflix original, right?
Yeah. With Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
He's
Jason Bateman.
He's
so
a money
good.
launderer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a professional money launderer. That's like his job.
That's cool.
And then his like boss basically tells him he's like packing up and he's fucking moving to like Missouri, the Ozarks, like the Lake Ozark.
That's why it's called Ozark.
Yeah. And so he has to start like laundering money out there
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's just like how he's like struggling to like rebuild his life because he was laundering money like through like a big company, like a stock company basically, and now he's like doing it through like these small businesses and stuff. It's kind of like Sons of Anarchy in the sense of like it's like this illegal empire thing,
Yeah.
but instead of like Sons of Anarchy is like the whole group that's in charge of the illegal empire, and Ozark's like this one guy who got dealt this shitty situation and like he's getting blackmailed into money laundering for this fucking like drug lord.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's pretty fucking badass, like the shit he has to do and like the questionable decisions he has to make, you know, and like
I love Jason Bateman too. So yeah.
It's badass.
So we're talking about film here for a little bit. Have you ever considered trying LA out? You know, trying to get a day job out there, trying to make it work or something like that.
In LA,
Yeah.
fucking A, man.
It's saturated.
I mean, I've definitely thought about it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I've thought about, like, I work at a college now. I never talk about where I work on here. I thought about just getting a job out there.
Yeah.
You know, like working at UCLA or some shit and moving to LA. But then I'm like, fucking cost of living is a nightmare. And I don't know if it's realistic to even have a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 job and try to fucking get into the film world out there.
You have to part with sleep. I think you have to be okay with not sleeping.
But even that, it's like, what do you do from the hours of 6 o'clock at night when you get off of work to the time you go to sleep to make it in the film world? Do you find an agent who's at a coffee shop? Like, I don't know.
Well, here's what I've done in the past here in the Phoenix area, and even in the Phoenix area, it ended up working out semi-decently. I mean, not great, but in LA it really would work. Even in San Diego, anywhere in Southern California, this ends up working out for a lot of people. Craigslist, dude. And it's no union work on there. I mean, and it costs money to be part of a union. But if you're willing to do non-union work and get paid, not great to work on gigs, and you have a skill to bring to the table, even if you're willing to just hold a boom mic, like, I'm a warm body, I can hold a boom mic, and I've had experience with a Tascam DR40 or something like that. Like, boom, you can get a job on a set out in LA, or, and you can do that at night if you are willing to put in 8 hours of work during the day, not save any money, and then try to make connections. I would say that would be the best way to do it, but you'd have to risk a lot. You'd have to risk a lot.
That's worth it for me.
I mean, here in Phoenix, if you're making 40 a year, you're doing good in Phoenix. Really, if you have roommates, you're doing good here. 40 in LA is poverty.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why Phoenix is really attractive, but I don't know. It's it'd be super cool to be on a big time production. There's only one place you can do it. One big place. That's LA. I mean, you can do Toronto. You can do New Orleans now, but
Atlanta.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, you know what? I got a buddy out in New Mexico that works gigs out there quite often, actually, because there's a couple of studios out there. But I mean, LA's kind of that's the problem with the film industry, is that it's not like being a nurse. Like, if you can work anywhere being a nurse. You can work on the South Pole.
There's hospitals everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Film is one place,
Pretty much.
Or two places, London and LA.
Yeah, I mean, you
Vancouver,
wouldn't
maybe.
move to London and get a job, though.
Well, no, because you're not a Brit.
But even the idea to me of like holding a boom mic on a movie set,
dude,
I get it. I get that you have to start somewhere and everything, but I'm at the point where I'm just like, I don't want to spend my time doing that shit.
So last summer, there was this crew. The crew came to Phoenix, and I got the gig on Craigslist, and I held a boom mic for 3 days.
Yeah.
I got paid $7 an hour. I got paid $7 an hour to hold this boom mic and audio kit.
Yeah.
They were making this pilot for this web series. To my knowledge, you know what? The producer was friends with the daughter of Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
And so we were using all of Alice Cooper's facilities here in Phoenix. Like, he had Cooperstown, which just recently closed down there in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then Alice Cooper's Rockers Camp or whatever in Central Phoenix. We used these facilities to shoot this thing. And I've never been so sore in my life holding a 20-pound shotgun mic boom pole, plus having a mixer strapped to my waist.
Yeah.
I was so fucked up after that weekend.
I bet.
I respect boom operators after that weekend.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the kind of work that they have to do. I mean, you're just you're shaking after a 3-minute take,
Yeah.
It's insane. I hated it. But it was cool to meet those people. They were really talented people. They were shooting with a Red, I mean, they had some really cool equipment, really talented people on that set, but yeah, I mean, dude, it's not like you walk into a film job and just get an awesome role. You gotta eat shit for a little while to get where you want to be. Or the thing that's really popular right now, if you have the money to invest in it, is becoming a drone operator.
Really?
Yeah. So if you can get your hands on but that's the thing, is that drones cost more than cars.
Yeah.
Like drones that can actually fly.
Yeah,
real
legit
gear,
drones are $5,000.
Octocopters, dude. Have you ever heard of the what is it called? The Free Fly. It's the same people that make the Movi. It's like this stabilization rig.
Yeah.
This thing's $10,000 out the gate.
Jesus Christ.
Base model. Yeah. And
have you seen those drone racers? There's there's professional drone racing. I saw it on ESPN. That's how I found out about it.
So fucking cool.
But that is the type of shit. If I was very well off, that is how I would be spending my free time. What do you do, Jeremy? Oh, I'm a fucking drone racer competitively. There's a fucking competition in San Diego this weekend. Driving out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Grand prize, $8,000,
Yeah, dude, grand prize is a new drone.
Hell yes.
It's drone racing and shit like that. I'm who does this? Oh, it's rich fucks. It's kids of rich fucks.
Dude, that's the same thing.
Those are the people who do it.
Have you ever heard of indoor skydiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have that. We actually just recently went to iFly here in
really?
Off the 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it costs $900 an hour to get trained in the wind tunnel. If you want to actually get trained to do tricks,
$900 an hour.
$900 an hour to pay a trainer to train you how to do tricks in the wind tunnel.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, it's literally like the 1% sport.
go fuck yourself.
It's more expensive than golf.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than golf. They have this world championship, and like this lady from oh my gosh, what's that place called? Not Shanghai, Saigon. Or no, not Saigon. That city doesn't exist anymore. It's Ho Chi Minh.
It's in Vietnam.
Wherever won the world championship for it, and was doing these crazy tricks. But it's like it costs a hilarious amount of money to be able to train in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
Because it takes a shitload of electricity and resources.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's like the Olympics.
Rich man sport.
It's like Olympians and shit.
Yeah.
It's like these kids who become Olympians when they're 15 and stuff, like Shaun White. It's like that's not everyone can't do that. You know why? Because they don't have rich parents who live by ski resorts.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a normal like, oh, he's naturally gifted and blah blah blah. Yeah, he is. There's also millions of other kids also naturally gifted, but they don't have the resources and the money to go skiing every weekend for 10 years straight. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like going back to your fucking LA jobs though.
Yeah.
I've considered going to LA a lot. Like a lot.
I bet it's been on your mind, yeah.
But it's like I just don't even know. I don't know where I would begin, and I don't know if I have the amount of dedication. I don't know what the right word is to walk in and say I will do fucking anything to get in the door.
Grit. I think that's the word.
Like
grit.
I will not hold a boom mic for 3 months. You know what I mean? I won't get someone's coffee. I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
And you know what?
And it's great that people want to do that, and that's the way they start working out. And I started as a PA, and 20 years later, look at me now. And it's like, that's wonderful. Good for you. I'm not gonna do that though.
And that's where corporate video actually looks really nice, because you can be a big fish in a small pond, and you can have a desk, and you can have assignments and projects, and a budget that fits you can design your own projects. You know, that's I've been blessed to work at a university here in town too, and I do video for them, and I work with a great team, and I don't have to stand for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't have to hold the boom mic and that's all I do, and then people spit on me. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't always happen, but I mean, it's kind of nice to be like, oh yeah, I work in video, but I don't eat shit.
But in the film world, even if you do that for 10 years and you go to Hollywood, you're still going to have to go back to the beginning. You're still going to be that guy who has to get coffee and shit. Like there is no, like, oh, I did film over here for 10 years. Look at me. Hollywood's like, we don't fucking care, man. Like, do you know what I mean?
We're talking about career filmmakers, right? People that make careers out of this stuff. I think the coolest thing that you can do as a filmmaker, you can say, you know what, I really admire the profession of filmmaking, the industry.
Yeah.
I want to just get my movie made.
Yeah.
And if you make one movie in your life and it gets distributed on the film festival circuit and you get accolades and you win Sundance or something, that's the coolest thing in my mind that you can do as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Not be some Spielbergian rich fuck, like, oh, I make movies for a living. It's, did you get your story made?
Yeah.
And if you got your story made, you're a success in my mind.
That is true. I would like to get one fucking feature film made in my life. That's for sure.
Well, you have a library of stuff that you've written.
Yeah, I have a handful of shit for sure.
Yeah,
That is my biggest regret in film school, not like networking more and like making like lifetime amounts of contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we went to a small school, and it would have been different if I went to a school like Arizona State or like NYU, UCLA, but it's just like there's so many people who want to make movies out there, and I'm not like connected to them. You know what I mean? Like I wish I had a group of friends that I'm like, I wrote this fucking script, and I wish I had a friend that was like, can I make it?
I know, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, you can.
Do it. Let's
like,
sign
and
some
I'll
contracts.
help. Like, let me, fucking produce it or whatever. And they're like, no, I really, like, just on weekends or whatever, I'll make this over the next, like, couple years.
You have opportunities to make connections your whole life, though. It doesn't have to be in film school. I can guarantee you the connections you make in film school won't be as great as the connections you make in other times in your life.
Oh, probably not.
I mean, the connections you make in film school are with friends,
probably
right? I mean,
better from the podcast,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, It just depends on, are you willing to make friends? Are you willing to branch out? Are you willing to go, to events, go to film festivals, go talk to people? You have a billion opportunities in your life to make connections if you really want to. And in film school, nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
We're all, 18 at that point, just like trying to, get a girlfriend or something,
Right.
So I wouldn't feel super bad about it.
That's true.
The
biggest thing that put me out, now that you said film festival, the biggest thing that turned me off of, and I didn't always have that opinion. I did have the opinion when I was in school. I know you said you got to go at 3 and it's 3:20.
Yeah. I just got a text from Laura. Yeah.
Yeah, we can cut this off. And
Yeah,
go.
Dude, to be honest, so I had 2 beers and some water. And
You got to pee?
I got to pee so bad.
Let me finish this thought and then we'll wrap this shit up.
All right, cool. And I can come back.
I had an internship at the Sedona Film Festival when I was in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I did that. It was like a 5-day internship or whatever, the Sedona International Film Festival.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's
because like the guy came to like the film, whatever, and was like, we're looking for interns, blah blah blah. And I was the only one in that class that stayed and was like, hey man, can I do that?
That's that gray-haired guy, right?
Yeah.
Jerry something.
Some
for some reason,
crazy
Jerry.
asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, Jazz, they're like, yeah, you'll get school credit, you'll get out of class, we'll let all your teachers know, like, you don't have to make up the work and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sick. Like, a whole week in Sedona, like, no problem. Like, put me up in a hotel and all this shit. Like, it was dope. At least I thought it was going to be dope. And then, like, once I got there, they're like, you're going to meet filmmakers, you're going to see a lot of movies, like behind the scenes of the film festival.
Sounds
and all
pretty
this shit.
good.
It was nothing like that.
No.
Like, by the time I got there, like, basically it was me and 3 other interns, and our job was to serve drinks and clean tables.
There you go.
In the filmmakers lounge.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And so I did get to see 1 film a day.
Only one? You only got one free?
Only
Are you
one.
serious? Were you getting paid at all?
And it wasn't like the big films. No.
It was like the
Wasn't
little
getting paid.
little documentary that made it into like a.
Because the big films were like ones that they sold out tickets to ahead of the time. In the film. So it was like, oh, this film's playing at this Harkins down the road, not at the actual film area, but at the other theater we have rented from the film festival. So like you can go see it at this Harkins.
I worked at that Harkins when I was in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so it was like this huge waste of time. And like out of the 5 days, I only did 3 of them. I just didn't go back.
You just didn't show up.
I didn't call. I didn't nothing. I just
em.
didn't go back. I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, what a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, I did meet a couple filmmakers, but they were just indie, small name filmmakers that like.
You can give them a business card. And
they're like,
hear.
what are you studying? I'm like, a screenwriting. They're like, oh, pitch me an idea. And I'm like, I'm like a sophomore and I don't really have an idea. Like,
oh, damn it.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it was just this horrible experience. And I was like, man, that's what being a film intern is like. Like
about.
Serving drinks. Like, fuck that, dude.
It's like appropriated slave labor,
dude. It was just yeah. I mean, being an intern, I would never recommend anyone getting a non-paid internship to do anything.
Just get your movie made. That's the best you can do.
Because I was like, what does this even look like on my resume? I was an intern at a film festival. What'd you do there? I served drinks and cleaned tables.
That's worthless.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I know.
Great.
You're just trying to make connections,
Yeah. Anyways, we'll wrap this shit up, though.
Dude, can I come back, though? This was super fun.
Please come back.
Fantastic.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah, bring the girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she'll be my wife here in October.
I know, man.
Yeah.
That's big.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations
Thank you
on
very
that.
much. Thank you very much.
That is big.
Yeah, we're really happy about it. It's going to be super cool. We're going to Portland for our honeymoon.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're going to go. There's this ice cream shop up there called Salt and Straw. They've got these wacky flavors that are supposed to be really good. So we're going to hit that shit. Voodoo Donuts, that's another place.
Dude, I heard great things about Voodoo Donuts.
I have too.
It's like the one thing online that I always see. People going to Portland, we're at Voodoo Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts. Uh-huh. That's apparently the shit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so we're going to have a good time. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yes, thank you. Please come back.
Cool.
Please come back.
And I'll talk about less dark shit next time.
Oh, no. I thought today was great, honestly, man.
Awesome.
This is dope.
Good swath. Good swath.
Gotta plug my shit. Hit me up on Twitter at MiAZ Podcast. Please give my Twitch a follow. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all the good shit. Thank you, Epic Alec 333 for the intro. Slide to the podcast. Thanks, Trask Media, for the intro song, and Nick for the logo. I think that covers my bases
There you
on
go.
that one.
There
All
you
right,
go.
thanks everyone. Peace out.
Have a good day.
Later.